What's going on, guys? We're going to talk about something new and different today, and that is my DaVinci Resolve micro panel. As you can see, I have both the micro panel and the mini panel from Blackmagic. So what exactly is the micro panel? It's a control panel, as DaVinci calls it, or basically it's a surface, and that allows you to control certain aspects inside or certain parameters inside DaVinci Resolve while you color grading. I've had this particular model for 3 years now, and I've been able to use it to color grade various projects. And as you would expect, I have some good and bad things to say about this panel. First of all, why did I buy this panel? 3 years ago, just before the pandemic hit us all, I knew I had to improve the quality of work I was putting out there to clients. After shooting and while editing, I would just throw on a loot. Yes, back then, I did try to balance the exposure on the clips, but I didn't know anything about color grading until I started doing my own research. Research led me to switch from Final Cut Pro to Premiere Pro, and then from Premiere Pro now to DaVinci Resolve. The first thing I like about this panel is that it just makes color grading feel more natural. What I mean by that is you cannot just put your hands on these 3 trackballs which correspond to lift, gamma, and gain in Resolve. You're just going to be able to kind of quickly adjust those settings. Also, you're able to shift colors about precisely how you want to. So you have these turntables where you're able to easily and quickly adjust intensity or luminosity of the clips. So the trackballs let you easily do sort of a split tone or color separation at the same time. It's crucial when doing basic color balancing and you want to make sure that your clips look natural and well balanced. When you need to adjust your color temperature, you can easily and quickly do the settings. You are able to quickly adjust the color temperature while paying attention to what's on your screen. It just makes things more accurate and smooth. I think it's more intuitive and it feels more natural versus having to do with a keyboard and mouse. That process can be a little bit slower, so using the panel here is an advantage. Another thing I love about this panel is that it gives you quick access. For example, you may have pushed the value way too much or think you may have made a mistake or error. You're easily able to reset this by pushing either the RGB all or level buttons at the top of the lift, gamma, and gain trackballs. You also have knobs at the top for Y lift, Y gamma, and Y gain. Also for contrast, pivot, and mid-tone detail, color boost, shadows, highlights, saturation, hue, luminance mix. Being able to have these knobs, they can just directly grab and adjust, just may allow you to work faster, especially when you consider that a lot of these settings within DaVinci Resolve are going to be sort of hidden in some menus or would have required you to use the mouse for extra clicks. This panel also has to the right of it buttons that allow you to quickly grab stills so you can compare one shot to another. You can undo and redo everything you've done. You can play still, you can reset your color node. There's the loop button where you can loop a clip, the bypass button to bypass an entire grading process. You're able to quickly disable node grades, switch between previous and next nodes in series or in parallel, move from one frame to frame or from clip to clip in the color grading page. There are also 3 buttons to quickly switch between the lock controls, offset for changing the color temperature of your clip, and the viewer for switching into full screen mode and out. The next thing I really like about this thing is that when in full screen mode, you can, while looking at your image in detail, make adjustments without looking down at the panel. And even without switching in between menus with the mouse and keyboard, you can easily do that with the panel. And which this makes things a lot more quicker. And if you don't like the look or you want to, you can easily just undo with the panel or completely reset the look. Connecting this panel to your computer requires you to have a USB Type-C cable. It easily just plugs and play and is recognized by DaVinci Resolve software. With this cable, you're able to power up this panel. All the buttons are backlit except for the 12 knobs at the top of the panel. But the panels feel very well made and solid. It has a well balanced weight to it. It feels like it's going to last a long time, as far as you have it all the time on your decks. Look at mine. It's been 3 years now and it still looks as clean as new. Now that actually brings me to the bad things about this panel. And the first one from my point of view is from time to time, I think when grading in the dark, I can't easily make out the 9 knobs at the top of the panel as they are not backlit. So I need to use my desk lamp at the top to see the name of the actual knob I'm turning. It's called a micro panel, but it doesn't look that micro at all, which is a funny thing. It looks sizable enough to take up most of the space on my desk. So imagine needing to travel with it on a plane. It's not too small to easily package. You know what I mean? It's really not that portable. As you get familiar with grading with Resolve and the panel, you begin to want more shortcuts for things like creating serial, parallel, layer nodes, copying and pasting grades, quickly switching to other menus on the color page. Then you begin to want to upgrade to the mini panel. And this is the main reason I decided to buy the mini panel. Stay tuned for a review video in the near future for the mini panel. The micro panel costs roughly $800 plus and lacks the most important key most Resolve colorists need, which is creating a new node. This panel is also just restricted to Blackmagic Resolve software. You can't use it in Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, or other editing softwares. So just imagine $800 restricted to just one editor. Is it something to invest in? Will it make you a better colorist? Capital N-O, no. If you are serious about color grading in DaVinci Resolve and want to have a more precise and quicker workflow, I will highly recommend the micro panel as a starting point, and then see if you need to upgrade to the mini panel. You would also need to invest in developing your color grading skills to become a better colorist. I do not consider myself a professional colorist, although I am still trying to develop my color grading skill set. One great thing is, if you were to buy the panel brand new, you get the studio version of DaVinci Resolve for free, which is kind of a good thing. Do I recommend it? First thing I want to say, if you're a heavy dedicated Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve user coloring in the color page, then yes. I would say it's a great panel, although there are many other panels you might also want to consider or test out first and kind of see for yourself if you like those panels. Examples are the panels from Tangent. They have very small versions when compared to the micro panel, and they can be used in other editing softwares, unlike the micro panel. The panels from Tangent are a lot more customizable. Plus, if you are an editor who works in different applications or environments, then the Tangent might be right for you. But if you're a Blackmagic fan, like myself, I want to work faster, especially when color grading in DaVinci Resolve, then I think this is a great investment. With time, you do not really need to look down at the buttons to see where everything is. You get to know where everything is and it increases your speed. If you'd like to see me review the Blackmagic mini panel, hit the like button. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Peace out, guys. And remember, happy shooting.